You good? All right. Welcome back, YouTube, to RNC Worldwide for another fun and informative video. Today, as I promised in my last video, we're going to be doing an interview on small businesses. This is our inaugural video on small business and enterprise. I say small business, but this fellow here has quite an operation going on, and we're just going to get into it a little bit and see what inspired him to take on his ventures that he's got into. So, without any further ado, let's dig in. So, YouTube, this gentleman sitting next to me is my brother. His name's Pershawn Davis, and like I said, as I promised, I would start doing a few videos on small businesses and what inspired the people to start their small business, or who might have inspired them to start. And I couldn't think of a better person to start with than a person who's inspired me. So let's begin. Mr. Davis, so like I said,
you're everybody in my huh?
We're shooting a video.
You just messed it
Introduce
up.
your mom.
You just messed it up.
Wave.
No, we can edit.
Shit.
We can edit.
That ain't water. That's cold water.
All right, we had to do a brief pause there. My mom decided she was gonna get in on the video a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. So our first question is gonna be we're gonna start off. Let me backtrack a little bit. My brother has several business entities that he's into. Well, we're gonna start off with with his farm and ranch business. We're gonna start there, and then we'll progress into some other things. Since I think he's been doing the farming thing the longest, but I don't know. But here we go. So, what or who inspired you to get into the farming / ranch business?
Well, growing up in small town Mangum and being around farmers and ranchers and horse trainers and all that, everything starts with a dream. You got to have a dream. Then you got to make a plan off that dream, and then you got to try to live that dream, And nothing about a dream comes tomorrow. This is a 30-year dream that finally came to reality. It's all about having a plan and trying to live up to that plan. So, and me and my wife, we had the same idea, the same goal, trying to get to the same spot, and that helped out a lot. So, we took a dream that started out with 6 head of cattle, and now it's over 150. So
You started with how many?
6 cows.
Okay.
We had 6 cows. We increased it to 16. We lost 6 to lightning, so that dropped us back down again. And then we slowly just started taking cattle. Whatever we could afford is what we bought. And once we reached what we could reach on this land, then we bought more land. But when I say we bought more land, you can't buy land until you have enough cattle that you can afford to pay for that land. So cattle builds on land, or land builds on cattle, but you have to stick with a plan.
Okay. Well, let me stop you right there. So you say you have 150 cows currently, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how much land do you currently have?
Right now we operating on about 500 acres.
Wow. That exceeded my estimation right there. I thought he was operating at about 300 acres. So he exceeded my estimation by an additional 200 acres. And that's quite a feat there. So, what would you say, other than, like you said, you had to you purchased your cattle, then you had the lightning strike that took away part of your herd. So, other than the lightning strike, what was some of the other initial obstacles that you would say that you faced when you?
Well, our biggest obstacle was color base. Okay, you can get what you want if you have the mindset to go get it. You just might have to take the longer route to go get it. When I went into the cattle thing, or when me and my wife went into the cattle thing, we knew it wasn't going to be easy based on race. So that wasn't really an obstacle. We just had to figure out a way to get around that, to get what we want, to stay on track. And we figured it out. And by doing that, then that set us up to have not the land that we live on, but the additional acreage, some additional acreage we was able to get financial help through Farm Service Agency to build onto what we already have. But in order to do that, even dealing with them, you still have to have a plan, because you can go to them and get the land, but if you don't have the cattle to help you finance, to help you pay for that, then you're coming out of pocket.
Okay. So, having said that, let's not overlook two things that he said here. First thing being him saying that it's him and his wife on this venture. That it's been a two-party venture, this whole thing. Let's not overlook that, how big of a part that his wife played in this operation. It's taken both of them to get this. Second part is, well, actually it's three parts. So second part would be, let's not overlook the race barrier that he mentioned in obtaining this level of success in the business. And third part is, let's not overlook or minimize the fact that 500 acres. I want to let a lot of people know how big that is. I would venture to say, and I don't know this, I haven't researched it to any level, but I would probably venture to say that's probably the largest black landowner probably in the state of Oklahoma. Would that be a fair assessment? Or
Yeah, it's pretty close. One or two in southwest Oklahoma. There's only a couple.
So that's quite a feat in itself. That should be a inspiration to somebody watching this. Like I said, this is my brother. We come from a single. Our mother was a single mother raising 4 boys, and so he came out the mud with this operation. When I say out the mud, we was poor, broke, and hungry, living off of. We're a food stamp family, so it's been a great progression to get to this point. And let's not overlook, like he said, it's been 30 years getting to where he's at. But in that 30 years, he also retired from the military. He's a retired veteran. He put in 24 years in the military.
24 years, 16 days.
24 years, 16 days. How many hours?
I don't know.
So, along with the military, retirement from the military, he's also achieved college degrees. Three college degrees in this 30-year venture. So, like I said, I couldn't find a better individual to start with these videos. And these videos, like I said, the whole purpose of these videos with small business is to inspire other people. It's not it's like the same thing with my snow cone business. If you've watched my snow cone videos, it's not anything to brag or anything like that. it's just to show other people what's possible. Like I said, just in my short time of doing my snow cone business and doing the videos, I've had not multiple, but I've had a handful of people reach out to me and express how much it's inspired them to want to get something off the ground. And like I said, watching my brother do his thing, it inspired me. I mean, I watched this dude has zero hesitation with starting any kind of business. I promise you. I promise you. And when I say that, that segues into another portion our video I want to go to. And like I say, anybody who's watched my videos, you know I bounce around on my topics. Nothing. I don't have anything wrote down. But so, like I said, he doesn't hesitate to get into anything. So along with the 20 years military, 24 years and 16 days of military, along with the 3 college degrees, he's a dog breeder, he's a pig breeder. He wears a lot of different hats. So, is there anything you'd like to add on to the farm thing before we progress into anything else?
Well, something I will say is that you won't get anywhere by saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, without having the work ethic to put with that I want. You can want all day, but if you don't have the work ethic to go and get it, you're not going to get it. Yeah. But anything you do in life, you should have fun doing it, But like I said, nothing happens overnight. And if you want it, come up with a plan and implement the plan and run with it. Worst thing can happen is you fail, and then you learn from that failure and you recoup.
And another big thing I don't want to overlook too, that just came to mind, along with starting this business and getting all the things we've already discussed. Along with that, he's also a cancer survivor, and at the same time he did chemotherapy and went through that whole ordeal and was able to maintain this whole operation he has here. And along with that, him and his wife also have my mother here living with them. And my mother, a couple of years ago, she fell and had a head injury. So she suffers from, what almost resembles like a mild stage of dementia. And, his wife, she doesn't want to be on camera, but she maintains a full-time job as a nurse also, and they're able to, keep my mother here and take care of her, along with, maintain this operation. And they also have a grandson here that lives with them, and they help out with him. So it's they have a full-time gig going here, and they're doing quite well at it. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to minimize his wife's role, even though she don't want to be on camera. I mean, it's quite an ordeal that they're doing, and I'm really proud of them. Like I said, that's why I wanted to start here first. And is that it as far as the farm and ranch side? So also, my brother breeds, like I said, he breeds dogs, he breeds Rockwallers. He's been doing that
We've been doing that for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 30 years now.
And that started in Germany when he was in Germany in the military. He got into the Rottweiler thing over there, and he's maintained that also. And then now that he has the grandkids, he's got into the pig business, and not just buying and buying and selling pigs, buying and showing pigs, I should say. He's also a breeder of pigs. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, it all started with my granddaughter not wanting to get rid of her first 2 show pigs. So we're like, well, if you're gonna have show pigs, if you're gonna keep them, then that's gonna be your pigs for next year too. So I know how to AI. I know how to AI cattle.
Time out. For the uninformed viewer, when he says AI, that means artificial insemination. That means fertilizing the egg of the pig. He does that himself, and also with the cattle.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So when instead of buying a bull or instead of buying a boar hog, you just buy the semen, and you can pretty much get whatever type of animal you want, genetics wise. So we have backtracking a little bit. We have PT 160 Ranch is what we started off with, and we've moved on. Well, not moved on, but we also on the other side expanded to 4T's Ranch. PT 160 is commercial and 4T's is registered. By doing that, we also have 4T's genetics, which is the pigs. Now the pigs, we AI and the grandkids pick the pig that they want, and then we sell the other ones to be able to pay for some of the feed while they going through it. You're not ever gonna get ahead in showing pigs. Feed wise, but you try to make a little bit to make up for it. So the showing is about just having fun, having family fun, and that's worth the money that you put into the pigs. So yeah.
And having said that, and how long have you been breeding the pigs?
We've been breeding the pigs for 4 years now.
So just in 4 short years of breeding pigs, I know people like he said, we grow up here in rural Oklahoma. So I know a lot of people who's been showing pigs their whole life, and the pigs, basically they do the little local show in their county or whatever, and they'll succeed to a moderate level there in their county, and that's pretty much their pig career. But in the 4 short years, he's already had pigs placed as high as 9th in the state, and the grandkids consistently go to shows and place well with these animals. So that's quite a feat in itself. That because I know people who's paid. I've seen the guy that I work with drive as far as up to Utah buying pigs and paying up to $15,000 for a pig and ain't won a damn thing. So that's quite a feat in itself to be able to genetically engineer your own animal and have it do well in the state. And also saying that the last time I was here fishing, they had people driving up as far as from San Antonio buying pigs. Making that drive that far. That's you're probably talking almost a 7-hour drive to purchase these animals.
We've had them come all the way up from Brownsville, Texas, which is right off the Mexico border.
Yeah. So he's putting out some good stock. So if you're interested in some good livestock, or anybody who's into showing, producing some top quality stuff over here, you might want to give it a look. Try to think if there's anything else I'd like to elaborate on. So do you think you're going to stay into the pig business once the grandkids have all graduated? You're going to stay into the breeding of the pigs, or?
No, more than likely not. The pig things is for the grandkids. I don't have to do pigs. wouldn't have done pigs if it wouldn't have been for the grandkids. So once the grandkids say they don't want to show no more, then the pig showing thing, everything will probably come to a halt, because we are a cow-calf operation first and foremost, and then everything else after that. So, yeah.
So, so being that your primary, like you said, your primary thing is going to be the cow-calf operation. Are you looking to expand into more land and cattle, or are you are you kind of content where you're at, or what's your, do you have any long-term goals?
Yeah.
With
No,
that?
I'm never content.
Fair
I
enough.
want to own. I need more land, and land prices done went up, but we need more land, and we want more cows. So that's probably going to grow, because that's, like I said, that's what we do, and that's what we like doing. Yeah.
Okay. So having said that, so say because like I say, the purpose of these videos are to inspire. So if an individual was wanting to purchase a cow, they don't have a lot of money, they're looking to get some land, they're wanting to get some cows, some livestock. How much land would a person need per cow to get off the ground? Like, say I'm gonna buy my first cow. How much land would you require for, like one cow, to start with one cow?
Well, it depends on the land. If you got good Bermuda or good blue stem, then you can probably calculate 1.5 to 2 acres per cow-calf pair. If you got native and mesquite land, then you're probably looking at 5 to 6 acres per cow-calf pair, or more. Just depends on your land. So,
And when you say depend on the land, is that meaning, like you said, the first one you said it would be with Bermuda or what?
Bermuda or blue stem, some quality grass.
So that's gonna be the primary. So that would be the primary food source for the calf.
Yeah.
For the cow, I mean.
Yeah. It depends on, and that goes to, not going into detail, but it's all about stocking rate. What can your land hold? If you have, like I said, the prime grasses is your Bermudas and your blue stems. If you got good quality blue stem Bermuda, you can raise more cows per acre than you can native mesquite type land. So, yeah. So if you're looking at land, I mean, if you're a hunter, then go get you some mesquite land and hunt. If you are a cattle breeder, get you some land that's strictly Bermuda, the best Bermuda blue stem land you can get, and you'll be able to raise more cattle, fatter cattle that will stay fatter longer than you will on the other one.
Okay. Now I know a lot of people with land, when they raise cow, so with that Bermuda and the grasses that you're speaking of, can you bale that?
Yep.
So you can
We bale it every year. Every year you bale it, and you fertilize it to get you a high yield, and you bale it, because otherwise you're gonna end up buying it. But it all depends on your operation and stuff, because sometimes it's cheaper. If you don't have that many cattle, it's cheaper for you to buy the hay than to try to operate the equipment to bale it and stuff.
Now say that again.
Now if you have, say you have 16 head of cattle,
mm-hmm.
It's going to be cheaper for you to buy 50 to 100 bales of hay than it is for you to go out and buy a tractor, a baler,
a
swather,
okay, that makes sense,
and all that, So if you're not, if you're running a small operation, and this comes from just been doing this long enough. If you're running small, it's better for you to just buy than it is to go out and buy a bunch of equipment and stuff up front. The thing is, people get in a hurry, and I was one of them. You get in a hurry and you get yourself in debt. Okay, you get yourself in debt trying to trying to operate, okay, the best thing to do is start off slow, have patience, and groom your operation and build your operation slow. Don't try to jump in wholeheartedly and go in so far in debt that all of your money is going to the debt. Okay.
So when you say go slow and build your operation, how do you build your do you build your operation by the calves?
Yeah.
By producing more cows. That's in selling the calves. That's how is that how it works, or how does it work?
What we did was in the beginning, or what I did was I didn't listen to my wife, and we had 6 head of cattle. I wanted 30 head. Mm-hmm. She said raise slow. I didn't want to raise slow, so I went and got enough to have 30 head. And then I didn't want to wait to get to 50, so I went and got 50 head. But if you think about it, if your land takes 20 head of cattle to operate, and say you get those 20 and you add you another 10 to it, now you have a little bit of kickback. So those 20 pay for the land, and you get $10 head profit because you got 30 head. Well, instead of trying to do the profit, say you kept the heifers off of those 10. Now you don't owe anybody on those heifers that you just kept. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now say you had 5 heifers, so now your cattle for next year has just went from 30 to 35. And then the next year, instead of being 10 cattle a head, now you're 15. Say you get another 5 heifers, you roll that in. So you're building your herd slow, instead of saying, oh, I need to go to the bank and I need to get 20 head of cattle and I need to do. No, build your stuff slow, and you'll realize over time that it takes, say, 20 head to pay for 160 acres. So when you want 160 acres, hold you back an extra 20 head, so that when you go get that 160 acres, you already got the cattle to pay for it. The whole object of the cattle gain is not to have to come out of pocket for your cattle, for your land. Mm-hmm. Like for every, it's that old saying, and it's true, for every hard-working rancher, there's a wife with a job. Okay? And the deal is, you don't want to take money out of your pocket. You don't want to take money out of your wife's pocket to run a farm. You need your cattle to run the operation. If your cattle ain't running the operation, it doesn't make a difference if you have side money over here. If your cattle ain't running your operation, then you're going under. You might as well say you're going under. So.
Okay. Now you said initially, when your operation was small, you had the lightning strike, and that wiped out a lot of your herd. Mm-hmm. Now I know just from talking to you, just over time you've lost cattle to and that's, I understand this is just comes with raising cattle. You're gonna lose some to coyotes, like you said, sickness. But have you since your initial loss of those 6 cattle with the lightning, have you had anything else like that was big that kind of knock your stock down, like all at once?
Yep. We bought 30 head of cattle. We went and bought 30 head. We went and bought 30 head in 3 different groups. Tammy did. Our wife did. She went and bought 30 head. She bought 30 head of cows about 2 years ago, and she bought them in like 7, 8, 5 cow groups. Well, we brought home some cows that had anaplasmosis, and that forms a muscle deficiency and stuff.
And then let me ask you this: now, when you say you brought those cows home, do you think that the person selling those cows knew that they was selling off some bad cows, or you think that they're just something that probably happened?
No. After talking to the vet, it's a reason why people sometimes it's a reason why people sell young cattle. You know, normally you don't sell your young stock unless that's what you're into.
Yeah.
But if you sell young stock that are heavy bred, sometimes what's the reason for you selling that stock?
What do you mean heavy bred? What do you mean?
Okay, when you say heavy, when you go to buy cattle, you buying cattle that are light bred, some that's in like second trimester, or heavy bred. When you say heavy bred, it's normally going to be 7 to 8 months bred that's getting ready to drop a calf any month.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're in a cattle business, why are you selling cows that's 5 or 6 years old that's heavy bred when you could wait that extra 2 months
and have to
get that calf and then make a profit off that calf? Sometimes people have to do it because they need the money.
Right.
Other times people do it because they know something is wrong with them ones they selected and made a group. So you have to watch it. Everything, like they say, everything in life is a hustle. It's a hustle in every thing you do. There's somebody, you either gonna hustle or somebody's gonna hustle you. And a lot of times sometimes you come up the hustler or the hustlee.
So paying the price to learn.
Yeah, and it's a learning thing. So what we do now is we've grown enough to where we can pretty much keep our own heifers, or we can grow our own operation off of our stock. We don't have to, if you look at our herd, you see red cows out there and you see some Charolais out there. Well, this is supposed to be a black calf operation. But when you got cows, when you're losing 6 cows by lightning and you're losing cows by anaplasmosis, or you have something happen the winter, sometimes you have to go and get, and when prices of cattle go up, you have to work with it. So the reason why we have red cows and we have Charolais cows and stuff is because I'll go to the sale looking for black cows and say black cows will bring in $1,500-$1,700 a piece, heavy bred. And then these red cows and Charolais cows will come through, and they'll come through and they only bring in $850. So which one am I going to buy? Because I have the bulls, because of years of genetics and all this. I have the bulls I have black bulls that will throw black calves off of just about anything you put them on. So it makes me no difference. I can raise a red cow and still get a black calf. I can raise a yellow cow and get a black calf.
Now, what kind of cows are black cows?
Well, we have our black ones are Angus.
Okay.
The Angus breed, black Angus.
Now, I personally think that Hereford cows are the best looking cows. What made you want to get into Angus versus Hereford or whatever?
Well, back years ago, Hereford was the breed to have. Now Hereford is like in many cases, Hereford is right above Longhorn. Longhorn they consider trash cow.
Right.
So
now,
but the kicker to that, and we've had Herefords, but the kicker to that goes back to your black bull. You breed that Hereford to one of our black bulls, and you get a black baldy, which is black with a white face, and you've diluted that out, so you will get the same price as your black ones, even though it's out of a Hereford.
Okay. Now I don't see it much around here, but when I'm down in South Texas, when I get down around like Victoria and stuff, I see a lot of signs for Brangus cows. What is it? What are they?
Texas It's all based off of environment. Okay, it's always hot in Texas. Well, not always, but it's warmer in Texas for a longer period of time than it is in Oklahoma and stuff. Grasses and all that grow better in Oklahoma than it does down there. So you have to get the breed that matches the land.
Okay.
And the way they put it is, up this way, it's less ear, Angus, and things of that nature. Texas raises a lot more Angus. They raise a lot more Brahma. They raise a lot more. Just people say tiger stripe, but it's called an F1. It's an F1. It's a cross between a Hereford and a Brahma, and you get a tiger stripe, which is the F1. Registered Brahma, registered Hereford, and you get a tiger stripe, and they do good in Texas. So you can take an Angus down there to Texas, and it may not bring the money that an Angus would in Oklahoma. And you can bring those tiger stripes up here to Oklahoma, and they won't bring the money that the Angus will. So it's all about environment and what's going to do good in that area. So Texas like a lot of ear, for sure.
Okay, and let me ask you this. Now you say a registered cattle.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know at one time you said that you had, when you had number 7, that was a registered bull, right?
Number 7, yep.
Okay, so when you say registered, is that just like a dog being registered that you just have the papers, or what do you mean?
Yeah, it's purebred.
Purebred. Okay.
Purebred, guaranteed purebred. You get papers on them, everything, and like I say, you can get registered that's just Angus, and you can get registered that's guaranteed to be homozygous. You know, homozygous meaning that whatever you breed it to is going to throw you a black cat. So, and
now, do you have registered bulls right now?
just about half of our bulls right now. Half of our bulls is registered Angus. Patrick in this, well, you can't see the pastures out here, but in the pasture behind the house, that bull's name is Patrick. He's a registered Angus. The bull on the back 60 back there, that's 407. He's registered Angus. The bull over here on the north side, he is registered Gelby, black Gelby. Those we just started breeding last year, 2 years ago, to get registered balancers that we sell online. So we sell cattle at the sale, and we sell cattle online.
Is it a high quality cow that you sell online, or just
majority of the registered? And if it's registered, it's sold online. And then, like I said, then on the back 60 is commercial, but they're on a registered bull. And in Indiahoma, we have 2. We have a registered Limflex, which is Limousine Angus cross, and we have a balancer, which is a cross between Angus and Gelby. So out there we have that, and then over the hill over here we have number 9 black Angus. We have Gelby and two Gelbys, two balancers, which is your Gelby Angus cross. So just about everything is either F1, which is a cross between pure genetics, or is registered. Yeah.
okay? And that's just with your bull.
That's what the bulls.
Okay, which is the primary bloodline when you're breeding something. Kind of like be no different than a human. Like if you know a man and a woman have a baby, the baby is 90-something% the male's genes.
Yeah.
So it's
cattle, bulls make up about 85% of
the genetics.
the genetics. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
That's why we have some cows that the pasture over the hill is just a mix of cattle. That's commercial. It's just a mix of cattle. But they have two, a F1 and a registered over there breeding. So you get good calves off of them. So, yeah.
So, if somebody was looking to get into the cattle business, and like I say, that's totally new to it, what would be your recommendation? And I understand this ain't like set in stone and no way to do it, but from your personal experience, what would be the number that you would recommend somebody, the number of cows and the number of acres that you would recommend somebody trying to start their operation?
If you're gonna, if you can afford it, 80 acres. 80 acres will get you a real good start. If you can't afford that, then 40. But you got to remember, on 40 acres, you're gonna run less head of cattle. But that's not saying that you still can't build off of 40 acres. You can build off 20 acres. Just know that if you overstock your land, you're gonna have to come out of pocket to feed more. Okay, so if you can get more land and run less cattle, then you're that much ahead because you're not coming out of pocket with anything. You're not coming out. And majority of the people, me and Tammy, we're lucky. We're lucky because we don't depend on the cattle to make our living. Our living came from me retiring and her working as a nurse. So this cattle stuff is like extra, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of the people around here, they work. Their living is cattle.
All eggs in one basket.
If they go under, which they did during the drought that we had a few years ago, a lot of people around here went under and they sold their land. So now people that could afford their land has built their operations around here. So if you depend on cattle is your source of income, don't get over your head raising cattle. Okay? Go slow. Same thing I tell my son. Go slow and build your operation based on what you can afford. If you can only afford one cow at a time, then get one cow at a time. You know, if you can only afford 20 acres or 5 acres, then get the cows that you can, or the animals that you want to raise, but keep it to where you can sustain it and your income can sustain it. And
Okay.
You'll do good.
Okay. And having said that, you said earlier that you don't want, when you start off, that you made the mistake of trying to get into equipment too soon. So what if you had to pick a number in your head, what would be the number that you would say as far as acreage before you need to even look to start trying to buy equipment? Would that be based on acreage, or would that be based on the amount of livestock you have, or would it be both?
It's both. It's both. It depends on, okay, buying equipment. If you're not mechanically inclined, you better not buy equipment, because you can't afford to send it to somebody to get it worked on. Therefore, you have to be mechanically inclined enough upstairs to know how to. I may not know how to work on it, but I can teach myself how to work on it. And it goes back to being able to work on your own equipment, because you're going to have to buy. If you're not rich, you're going to buy somebody else's problems, and if you can't fix what they wasn't able to fix, or they didn't want to fix, then you don't need to get equipment. Just buy your hay. And
okay, not to cut you off, but so based on what you're saying there, being able to work on the equipment, so you would recommend, definitely your recommendation would be to buy used, correct?
Yeah.
And not try to buy
Yeah.
new equipment.
No, if you're not rich, then you know the anything in life, you shouldn't try to compete with the Joneses.
Absolutely.
Because the Joneses may be trying to compete with the other Joneses.
Absolutely.
And them Joneses will take you under. Well, no, they won't take you under. You take yourself under trying to compete with them. So get what you can afford. You know, if you have to eat the tires on a $300,000 tractor, then you don't need that $300,000 tractor. You know, when people are still plowing their fields with tractors from the 60s and the 70s, but they know how to work on them. So if I can plow a field with a tractor that's 70 and 80 that's from the 70s or 80s, I can plow that same field just as good as this man that's got one that's 2017 model. Why am I going to make that one? You know? So my advice is get what you can afford, and if you don't need it and you have the small acreage, we found out that it's cheaper to, if you got small acreage and you have few cattle, a few animals, whatever, it's cheaper for you to buy that feed, buy that hay, than it is to try to buy all that equipment to operate it. Yeah. So it's farming and stuff is, you can get in over your head real quick. You know, and it's best to listen to somebody that has made the mistakes than it is to go out and try to jump in head first and lose it all.
That's why we're doing this video, people. Try to get you informed. Like you said, to spread the word, inspire somebody from somebody who's already done it. That's the main purpose of this video here. So that's a lot of good information there. I think we're probably gonna wrap it up here. Is there anything that you'd like to part with?
Yeah, just stay positive, stay focused, and have a plan.
Definitely. Always have a plan. That's what I say. Shooting from the hip works sometimes, but it's always better to have a plan. All right, people, we're gonna wrap up this portion of the video. In the future, we'll shoot a second half to the video when we got better weather, and we'll give you a little tour of the operation he's got. Give you a kind of little tour of the land. I might have a little bit of the video of it I took today, but I'll try to get it up. But we'll do a part 2 in the future, and we'll show you around some of the land and the property, and show you some of the livestock and some the cattle and the horses, and we'll show you some of the pigs and the and some of the dogs he's breeding. But until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell so you know when we're coming with more fun and informative videos here at RNC Worldwide. Till next time, peace.
You didn't say share.